Morning, everyone. It's 11 a.m., so we're going to get started with our presentation today. Thank you for joining us. As we wait for a few additional people to join the call, I think the next slide is going to ask you to do a little bit of an interactive activity here. So we'd love to hear more about how you're feeling about attending UVM this fall. And if you use this QR code on this screen, we definitely appreciate it if you would just share how you're feeling. We have a few more minutes for other students to join the call and look forward to sharing some of your responses. Oh, I'm so happy to see that some of you are already sharing that you're so excited to join us, that you're feeling hyped. Some of you are feeling a little nervous, which is totally normal. But I'm really happy to see that a lot of you are excited. I think somebody even combined the words nervous and excited, and I really love that. I think that's the perfect way to describe a feeling about your first semester at UVM for sure. Somebody's feeling ecstatic. I love that. We're very happy to see your enthusiasm, and we definitely share your excitement as well. Somebody said they can't wait. I know it will just be a couple more months. I think the summer is going to fly by, and before you know it, you're going to be moving into your new residence hall and going to your first day of classes. It's going to be really soon. Well, thank you all so much for sharing how you're feeling. I'm happy to see that overall everyone is so excited to be joining us here today and joining us in the fall. So again, thank you for sharing how you're feeling. So as we get started today, I just wanted to first introduce myself. So my name is Whitney Northrup, and I'm the Associate Director for the Student Services Office in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I've been with CALS for quite a bit at this point. I think it's about 14 years, and I can definitely share from my firsthand experience that this is a really special college to be a part of. So we're very excited for you to learn a little more about our college today. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what we will be covering today in the next hour. So first, we'll start with an introduction of the Cal Student Services team so that you know who we are and how we will support you as you transition to UVM. Then we're going to take a bit of a closer look at what our college is all about. I'm sure you've learned about us through your research and your attendance at admitted student visit days, but we'd like to just cover a few more things. And then we're also going to share some successful tips for your transition to UVM. And we will also cover how UVM translates AP, IB, and transfer credit. And finally, we're going to walk you through how to prepare for your upcoming course registration advising appointment. We will definitely have time for questions at the end of the call today. I did want to let you know that we will be recording this session for students that weren't able to make the presentation, but we will stop the recording as we end for questions, so no worries about that. So just a couple housekeeping tips for today. I see that you all have your microphones muted, and we definitely appreciate that. You're welcome to keep your cameras on or off. It's totally whatever you're most comfortable with. If you have questions as we're presenting, there is a chat function on this call. So if you open up the chat box to the right side of the meeting, you can actually type in your questions as we go along. And as I mentioned, there are members from the Cal Student Services team that are on the call, and they will be able to respond to you in real time. So speaking of those members from the team, I would now like to introduce you to them. So if Kaylee, Sean, and Stephanie could please turn on your cameras, I'd love for you to tell everyone on the call a little bit about your role today.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie McConnell. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the two first-year student success advisors here in CALS. And some of the main things that a student success advisor can help you with is course registration, and also just making sure that you are making progress towards earning your degree here at UVM.
Hey everyone, my name is Sean Levy. I am the second of two student success advisors here at CALS. Just to kind of expand on what Stephanie said, we're kind of like your Google. We're your first stop for any questions, or if you need resources, we're the people to come to with your questions. And if we don't know the answer, we will certainly point you in the right direction.
Hi everyone, my name's Kaylee Booten. I am the Cal Student Services Specialist. So I manage our email. I do a lot of administrative tasks like major minor change forms, block scheduling, schedule of courses, catalog editing, and many other things around the office.
Thank you all. And just to introduce you to the other two members of the team who are not on the call today, I'm sure that you met Kate Finley Woodruff if you attended the Admitted Student Visit Days. She is our Associate Dean of Student Services and Academic Programs. And then we also have Kate Fitzsimmons, who is a Student Services Specialist for Recruitment and Events.
Alrighty, so we are located in Morrill Hall, room 103. So if you ever want to stop by, we would love to see you. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and we have drop-ins every day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. You can also reach us at our email, which is calstudentservices@uvm.edu, or you can give us a call at 802-656-2980. And feel free to stop in at any time. We're really easy to find. We're located on the corner of University Place and Main Street, right behind the Davis Center. So easy to access, and we would love to get to know you and answer any questions you may have throughout the year.
Thanks, Kaylee. So now that you know where our college is located, I'd love for you to learn a little more about our college. So the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences is actually one of 10 colleges at the university. Our college has approximately 1,400 undergraduate students, and we have nearly 300 incoming first-year students starting this fall. So our college offers 15 different majors, so hopefully you see yours listed here today, and 20 minors. While a minor isn't required for your degree through the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, you're more than welcome to choose one. Sometimes students will choose two. And you can choose your minor from within our college or even from outside of our college at another one of the colleges at the university. So for example, if you're a student that is also interested in psychology, you can minor in psychology, which is actually through the College of Arts and Sciences. So as I mentioned, it is not required to do a minor, and you can declare one at any time. I will talk a little more on the next slide about timing for adding a minor, but just wanted to get you thinking about all the different possibilities for your degree as you enter in your first year. So within our college, students engage with cutting-edge science and innovation to address today's challenges and to adapt to a changing world. We embrace a planetary health perspective, and our students study the interconnected health of people, plants, animals, and ecosystems. You can see our diverse fields of study, and those range from veterinary to plant sciences to microbiology and biochemistry, as well as the social sciences. Our college focuses on sustainability, food systems, community development, and the life sciences, where students will also develop strong communication skills to be able to promote equity, justice, and drive positive change in our world. So as mentioned, there is no rush to declare your minor or even change your major if that's something you're thinking about. However, if you're feeling set on making a change already, we do request and recommend that you fill out a change of major form as soon as possible, just so that we can ensure that you're connected to the correct small group advising appointment. In a moment, we'll talk more about what those small group advising appointments entail. But here's a QR code to the major change form, and I believe Kaylee is also going to link that in the chat as well. If you would like to wait till your appointment to discuss a potential major change, or you want to email us to hopefully connect with somebody to talk about that further, that's fine. There's no pressure, but I know some of you might already be thinking about a change. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that was possible at this point. And then again, just to reiterate for minors, I know you're probably pretty interested in a lot of things right now, and we just recommend that maybe you wait until the fall semester to talk to your advisor before declaring a minor. So minors are typically only 5 to 6 classes, which is approximately 15 to 18 credits, depending on each minor. So there's no rush, and there's plenty of time to complete a minor, maybe even 2 by the time of your graduation. If you are an undeclared student who's on this call today and you're thinking about declaring, you can go ahead and do that now using the same form we talked about previously. If you're not set on changing your major or declaring, that's totally fine. That is the point of being undeclared, is that you get time to explore. Generally, we do recommend that students, kind of head towards a major by the end of their first year, but ahead of the sophomore year, just so that you can make progress towards your degree requirements. But you have plenty of time in the first year to explore. So again, totally okay if you're not set on declaring anything, but just wanted to mention if you're feeling like you would like to make that change, now would definitely be the time to do so ahead of your appointments, which start next week. Okay, and now we would just like to introduce some changes to one of our departments. So if you are a student that applied to UVM through the Agroecology Landscape and Design minor or major, which is a major housed through the Agroecology Landscape and the Environment department, this department has actually just changed the major and it has split it into two different majors for the upcoming fall semester. So this means that if you are an agroecology and landscape design student, you are actually going to have to fill out one of these change of major forms to declare your new major. Essentially, the old major had two different concentrations, and now the two concentrations have become their own standalone major. So just to give you a brief overview of the differences between the two, agroecology focuses on applying ecological principles to crop production, combining natural sciences with hands-on courses in the soils, plant pathology, entomology, and farm management. While ecological landscape planning and design integrates ecology with design, planning, and emphasizes nature-based solutions to climate challenges and sustainable landscape management. So Kaylee just linked in the chat some more information for you to explore. So we definitely encourage you to do your own research before picking a major. If you show up to your appointment next month and you'd like, or this month and beyond, and you'd like to discuss that further, that's fine. But just know that before the fall semester begins, we will want to make sure that you choose one of these two majors. In terms of the first semester, the major differences between the two major are that students in agroecology will be taking chemistry their first semester, while students in the ecological landscape planning and design major are going to be taking a computer-aided drafting course. So definitely check out the link that we put in the chat. If you have questions before your appointment, you're welcome to reach out. But I did just want to make sure we reviewed this today as well. So to give you some more information about our academic advising model in CALS, we actually have kind of a shared hybrid advising model for students in our college. So all first-year students will be advised by one of our first-year student success advisors. So you met them a couple minutes ago. Their names again are Sean Levy and Stephanie McConnell. So during your first year, you will stay with Sean and Stephanie until you head to your sophomore year, which at that point you will be assigned and transition to a faculty advisor housed within your major department. That means if you're an animal science student, you'll be advised by one of the animal science faculty members, for example. So Sean and Stephanie schedule all of their appointments through the Navigate app as well, and we will talk about that a little later on in the presentation, but just wanted to introduce you to this application where you can easily schedule and change appointments. Just please note that the advisor you meet with this summer might not necessarily be the one that you're assigned to during the academic year. So for example, if you meet with Stephanie, you might wind up being assigned to Sean and vice versa. But all final advising assignments will be confirmed by mid-August before you arrive on campus. So our student services team definitely continues to work closely with our faculty advisors in our departments, and we collaborate throughout your first year and beyond to ensure that you have a smooth and well-supported experience at UVM.
Thanks, Whitney. So we know that coming to college is a really big transition in your life. And, we saw some of those answers. You're excited. You're maybe a little bit nervous too. So with that in mind, we did just want to put together a list of a few things that we want you to know before you get here on campus to have a successful transition to UVM. So starting off with our technology requirement. So UVM does require that students have a laptop. Chromebooks, tablets, and iPads do not meet minimum requirements that you need to have your computer meet to operate as you need it for your courses. There is a list on the UVM website of those minimum requirements if you want to take a look at those. But if you are someone that doesn't have a laptop already, UVM does have computer labs across campus where you can access computers if you need to. And then as a college student, planning ahead is a really critical skill to have. With that in mind, we did want to let you know that the final exam schedule for the fall 2025 semester has already been posted by the registrar's office. So you can find that schedule on the registrar's website and in the course syllabus that you will receive for each one of your courses that you're taking at UVM this semester. So that can definitely help you to plan ahead. And then speaking of planning ahead, we do just recommend that during the first week of your courses, when you get that course syllabus from each of your professors, that you thoroughly read through that, make sure that you're looking for any policies that you need to know about each one of your courses. They are sometimes different just based on what policies your individual professor has put into place. And then there are also going to be important due dates in there for any assignments that you have coming up to keep your eye on during the semester. And then while you can plan ahead for some things, others you might not be able to plan ahead for, such as getting sick during the semester. So even though we hope that you have a happy and healthy semester here at UVM, if something comes up where you do need to miss class, start off by checking those course syllabi just to see how your individual professors prefer you to handle absences. There may also be times where you need to reach out to us here in Cal Student Services for help, and we can help you figure out any situation or navigate extended absences that you may have during the semester. And then hopefully by this point, everyone has become a little bit familiar with your UVM email address. But if you haven't already logged into that, you can do so and just take a look around. That will also be the place where you will get important communications from not only us here in Cal Student Services, but also from your course professors. So there is an app that you can download to your phone if you want to really get into the habit of checking that email often.
Cool. So check it out. This is a list. It's a non-exhaustive list, by the way, of resources that we have here on campus. A few I wanted to highlight. Student accessibility services, which I'm linking to in the chat now. If you had accommodations through an IEP or a 504 in high school, and you would like to continue those accommodations, these are the folks to reach out to. Linked in the chat, they have a getting started form that you can fill out and get in touch with them. They are also here over the summer, so you can get that set up as soon as you want. Student health services, counseling and psychiatry services, tutoring center, writing center, the Mosaic Center for Students of Color, Interfaith Center, Prism Center, and Women and Gender Equity Center. Again, not an exhaustive list. There's even more available to you. You'll learn more about these resources when you're here in August during orientation. On the right side of your screen are just a few events that these resources will hold. Mosaic holds a community breakfast. The Tutoring Center will host Write-In Wednesdays and other events. The Career Center, which isn't even listed here, has their own events as well that you can get involved with. So there's tons of resources for you while you're here. And with that, you can easily get involved here on campus. There are over 250 student-led organizations and clubs here on campus. And if you don't see one that you like, you can always start your own. It really is up to you. Listed here are just some that are popular with our Cal students: the Dairy Club, Dressage, the Pre-PA Club, the Pre-Vet Club for your ASI people, Microbiology, Molecular Genetics Club, Students of Dietetics Association. We are the first campus in the United States to be certified for beekeeping. So if that's your jam or you'd like to get into it, we have a certified beekeeping club. So there's tons of opportunities to be involved while on campus.
So with all those ways to get involved, your first semester here at UVM is probably going to fly by. So here's a quick look at just some of the major dates that are going to happen during the fall 2025 semester. So starting off, you will kick off your first day of classes on August 25th. Then right after that, there is an add drop period to give you a little bit of breathing room to adjust your schedule during those first 2 weeks of the semester. During that add drop period, you can add courses to your schedule or remove any courses that you would currently be taking without it impacting your GPA. If you do need to withdraw from a course for any reason after that add drop period, you can do so up until October 27th. Then you will head home for Thanksgiving break from November 24th through the 28th, hopefully get a little bit of rest and relaxation. On December 5th will be your last day of classes for the fall semester, and then you will spend that following week from December 8th through the 12th taking any final exams that you have and finishing up any final projects before you head home for winter break. And then also in the spirit of planning ahead, we love to plan ahead here in Cal Student Services. Here is what you can expect when it comes time to register for your spring semester courses. So unlike your first semester here at UVM, where we will pre-register you for your courses, in the spring semester, you will register yourselves for your courses. So in late October, the schedule of courses will be released. That schedule of courses is going to show you every class that UVM is offering that semester at our institution. Then also in late October, you will receive an email from Sean and I inviting you to schedule a small group advising session. You'll schedule that appointment through the Navigate app, which Whitney will talk about in a little bit. Those in-person small group advising sessions will happen during the first 2 weeks of November. During that small group advising session, you will come visit us in person in Morrill Hall. You'll meet with either Sean or myself, and there will also be other students in your major in that session. And that is where we will help you plan out your spring semester courses. So we'll let you know which courses the department is recommending that you take that semester based on your major. We'll answer any questions that you have, and just make sure that you are making progress towards your degree with the classes that you want to take in the spring semester. Then later on in November, you will be able to register for those courses. The registrar's office hasn't posted the dates for spring registration quite yet, but once those are live, they will be on the UVM website.
Thank you, Stephanie. And now we're going to talk briefly about AP and IB transfer credits and also credits from other institutions and how we as an institution evaluate that. So for transfer credits from other institutions, your local community college, if you have a college near you, and you transfer those credits in, those should already be reflected on your UVM transcript. If you've taken AP or IB exams this year, those scores will be sent to us later in July. I believe they're released in July, and then we get them roughly around the same time. If you've earned AP or IB credit for biology with a score of 5, and your major requires what's known as B Core or biological core, you may be invited to enroll in B Core 425 Accelerated Biology or B Core 2300 Genetics. If you're sitting there wondering, am I one of those students? Am I a B Core student? Don't worry, we will go over that in your small group sessions in the next few weeks. So we'll be in touch about all that, and then invitations specifically for that will be going out in July also. So don't panic, it's just a piece of information to be aware of.
Thank you, Sean. So speaking of those course registration appointments, where you're going to learn a lot more in the next few weeks, we did just want to talk about how you can prepare for those course registration appointments. So as I've mentioned a few times throughout this presentation, we use an application called Navigate to schedule our appointments. So you should have received an email from Sean or Stephanie on about May 29th inviting you to make a small group advising appointment. This invitation went to your UVM email address, and as of today, about 70% of you have registered for an appointment, so thank you so much for making that a priority. If you haven't yet scheduled an appointment, please do so as soon as possible because the appointments start this coming Monday. If you're having trouble making an appointment or you're not able to make any of the slots that are available, please email Cal Student Services and we can help schedule something for you throughout the month of June or in July. So at your small group registration appointment, you will review your fall 2025 schedule along with 2 to 3 other students from your major. So you can rest assured we've already saved you a spot in all of the seats that you need as a first-year student in your particular major. So as mentioned, all of the appointments for first year advising, including the one you will have this month with Sean or Stephanie, are scheduled through Navigate. So besides scheduling, Navigate offers several helpful features to support your success at UVM, including your class schedule. So you can view classes and you can actually sync them directly to your phone on your calendar. You can access resources. So Sean was mentioning all of the resources available to you. They're linked right there in Navigate. So you can find their location and their contact information. You can also elect to be a part of study buddies. So if you're in a class where you'd like to find friends to study with, you can kind of raise your hand in the app and get a group of you together to find some time outside of class to meet. You can also view appointment summaries, which is really great. So if you come in to meet with Sean or Stephanie and you have a conversation about, say, studying abroad or potentially withdrawing from a class or maybe even doing some research down the line and you've wanted to check it out, you'll have those discussions and they will record those summaries so that you can view the appointment summary at a later date in case you forget or you need the details. So I would be sure to download Navigate this summer before you head into the fall semester, just so that you can get the most out of your advising experience and you can easily find all of the links you're going to need as a first year student.
Alrighty, so moving into block scheduling. As you may have heard a few times over this call, we have gone ahead and been working diligently over the last few weeks to block schedule you into all the core classes needed for your major. The way this works is we work with the chairs in the departments to ask them what courses they see as fundamental for your first semester, and then we work to block you into those classes to save you a seat since classes fill up pretty quickly. That being said, most of you are blocked into at this point about 12 credits, which is about 4 classes, which is great. That would put you at full-time status. Usually students take about 15 credits a semester to graduate in 4 years because 15 credits times 8 semesters is about the 120 credits that are required for a Bachelor of Science degree. And the maximum credits is per semester would be 19 credits. However, there may be a semester that you are a TA and you may need to take like 20 credits just to get that extra TA credit in, and that is possible. You would just have to work to get an allowance. We would have to basically override that for you in your account. So you could contact Cal Student Services to work on that. That being said, this is your first semester. You're transferring into college. This is a big change. So we recommend about 12 to 15 credits this semester to kind of just get your feet wet and see what's going on. We have blocked you into those courses. However, there will be room for you to look and possibly add a course of interest to cover a Catamount core or an elective, something that you're interested in. The other thing that this does not take into account is if you did take like AP classes in high school, as you heard Sean say, those won't be coming into us until middle of July or early July. So if you do know like you passed like a biology course or a chemistry course with high enough credit to come in, we will be working with you throughout the summer to make those changes in your schedule and take that intro to biology or intro to chemistry off and replace it with something else. But yeah, so you can see that when you log into your My UVM and pull up your schedule. You should be able to see all of the courses that you are registered for the fall. And in those small group advising appointments, you'll be able to review those and make any changes that are needed.
Thanks, Kaylee. And I did see in the chat that someone had a question, which I can just answer while we're on this slide. So the question was about coming into UVM with existing credits. As Kaylee was saying, maybe these are AP or maybe they're dual enrollment. I think it's awesome when students come into UVM because with those credits, because it is putting you in a good place to graduate on time, if not potentially early. The thing to keep in mind about your AP and even some of your dual enrollment credit is a lot of times those are coming into UVM and will cover the general Catamount core requirements. So Catamount core is our general education core. It's what all students take at UVM for any of the bachelor degrees. There's different requirements you need to meet, including things like fine arts, social sciences, humanities, even math and statistics. So a lot of your AP credit is going to go towards these general education courses, which puts you in a good position to later down the road be doing things like potentially studying abroad or declaring a minor. But it might not mean that your first semester schedule necessarily looks any different, because your first semester schedule, as Kaylee mentioned, has been specifically designed to set you up to move through the degree program and meet any of the prerequisites that you will encounter in your sophomore and junior year and beyond. So you can definitely have a discussion with Sean and Stephanie at your appointment about how these classes could potentially impact your schedule. But as Sean has said, we won't know about APs until July. And so we might recommend that you just sit tight on your schedule, wait to see what your score is, and then in consultation with us, we can help you make any potential changes.
Thanks, Whitney. So like we said earlier, if you haven't already made an appointment for that course registration advising session, you can do so now. Those start next Monday. And then just a few tips to help you prepare before your appointment. So while CALS does not require any of our students to take a foreign language course during your time here at UVM, if you would like to take either a French or a Spanish class, you will need to take the foreign language placement exam. So that exam will just let us know which course you should be starting off in based in your current language skills in the language you want to take. Similarly, if you are in a major that will require you to take calculus and you do have some time in your first semester schedule where you might want to add that course in, you will need to take the math placement assessment just to get a sense of where your math skills are at and to see which math course you need to be placed into. So we do ask that both of those exams are taken 24 hours before your advising appointment. That gives us enough time to get your scores back reported to us from that exam so that we can make sure that we are putting you into the appropriate course when we take a look at your schedule together during that appointment. The links to both of those can be found in the new student checklist that's in your UVM portal. And then if you do have any questions about these exams or any of these things, you can send us an email to that calstudentservices@uvm.edu email address. And then like Kaylee mentioned earlier, she has worked really diligently to save you a seat in all of the courses that you need during your first semester here at UVM. So from April to August each year, there are thousands of UVM students that are registering for their courses. So to really preserve that fall course schedule that we made for you and guarantee you a seat in those major courses that you need, the registrar's office has placed a new student registration hold onto your student account. So on the day of that course registration advising appointment that you have with either Sean or I, that hold will be temporarily removed to allow you to make any changes to your schedule that you discuss with us during that appointment. After your course registration advising appointment, that registration hold will be put back onto your account. And then on June 7th, that temporary hold will be permanently removed. So although that hold is going to expire, we do highly recommend reaching out to us before you make any of those schedule changes. So talking with an advisor beforehand, before making any changes, is really just going to help you make an informed decision and know in advance how any changes will impact your schedule. So Sean and I will be available throughout the summer to connect with you about AP or IB credit questions, transfer credits, anything else. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Thank you, Stephanie. So as we wrap up today's presentation and before we move on to questions, we wanted to share that we're so excited to see you at our new student welcome event, which will be hosted on Friday, August 22nd. The event will be held at the Miller Farm, which is located about a mile from Central Campus. The Miller Farm is home to the Cream herd. So if you're an animal science student, I'm sure you've heard of Cream. It's also home to the Equus program for students that have a horse at the co-op. And so we will provide bus transportation to the farm where you'll have the chance to meet faculty, explore our departments, connect with student clubs, and even meet, hopefully, some of the newest CAFs on campus. Pictured here is one of the new CAFs from last year. You'll be able to tour the barns, sample some fresh UVM apples from our Horticultural Research Center, and enjoy local treats like ice cream and cheese. In the meantime, be sure to follow us on social media for updates on our students, alumni, and some exciting CALS news. You can see our Instagram handle to the right on this slide. And now as we move over to the questions portion, I think, Kaylee, if you want to stop recording, I'll stop sharing my screen. Just looking at the chat and some of the questions that have been popping